Hi, I'm Richard Randall, and welcome to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. This is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Colorado's real estate authority, Barb Schlinker. Barb Schlinker is a retired Navy veteran. Barb is an author. Barb Schlinker is also a pilot, and Barb and her team enjoy all that Colorado and the Front Range have got to offer. Barb, always great to be talking with you. Now, we air Your Real Estate Voice every Saturday. If you can't listen to the entire show, it is always available on Barb's site, barbhasthebuyers.com, or look for her on all of the podcast platforms like iHeartRadio. Every week, Your Real Estate Voice covers great information about the housing market and one of the largest assets most people have, the home. So, Barb, what are we covering today?
Well, Richard, the first topic is about Redfin. So who is Redfin? A lot of people think Redfin is like a spinoff of Zillow, but actually they're another real estate company. They're a competitor to me, but they have big pockets where they can hire economists and stuff like that. And they're kind of predicting the real estate market's going to be correcting in 2026. So we're going to deep dive into what they say and what some other quote experts say about where the real estate market is going and what you can do about it. And then the next topic is probably not that common for most people, but it does come up in my business here and there. And that's, how does divorce affect your house, the mortgage, and taxes? So I get a lot of questions from this for people that are going through that. The good news is there really aren't as many divorces as what you would think you hear. You'd hear, oh, only half the marriages last, but that's actually not true. Those numbers are way off, which is good. But when they do have to divorce, we're going to talk about some misunderstandings about what needs to happen when you are selling an asset. Most of the time, the divorce attorneys will create a decree which requires that it be sold. And then the third topic is about selling rental homes. So the rental laws have gotten very tenant friendly lately. And so it's about how to sell one and keep your sanity. And then last but not least, how to get the best price and the 4 common negotiating mistakes that I see. And as always, I love talking about my hot new listings. Richard?
So, Barb, when we're talking about the real estate market, in particular what you do, it seems like the real estate market is giving mixed signals. Fewer buyers can afford homes, but you're having bidding wars. Why is Redfin predicting that the real estate market will plummet in 2026?
Well, Richard, I think that report was taking a national look and maybe trying to figure out if what's going on in Florida is going to kind of go as a wave across the country. And Florida has some unique things about it. First of all, the insurance there is really high, although our insurance here in Colorado is getting very high. And the HOA dues have just gone off the scale. So we're seeing a massive drop, particularly in the condo market in Florida. And some of the investors are actually suggesting, hey, time to get in and buy one if you want one. But is that really going to translate all across the country? I don't really get that sense. I think there is going to be some small correction this year just because there's higher inventory. There's more available homes, but there's the same buyer pool to work with. So back in 2022, we had an expansive buyer pool solely because the interest rates were really low, about half of what they are right now. And it was less expensive to buy a home versus renting. But the problem is because the cost was so low, there were bidding wars going on. Even BlackRock was jumping in the game and basically causing home values to spike in excess of what they should have. And we're still correcting. And the problem is that the buyers now with the higher interest rates, they just can't afford it. So what we've seen in the past 3 years, since the peak of the boom, which was the summer of 2022, housing demand appears to have dropped I wouldn't say it dropped. I would say it was artificially inflated at that time. So if you bought a home in 2022 and you need to sell in a couple of years, you might have to wait, right? Unless you put down a big down payment. And if you look at what Redfin says, they're saying, oh, there's going to be a collapse underway, and that the market has just flattened since the boom. So from 2018, we saw almost doubling in value, not quite, but almost doubling in value up to the peak in 2022. And then since the rates went up, the prices have stayed high, but the demand has dropped substantially. And the other thing people are talking about is what they call the golden handcuffs, meaning if somebody bought a home while the rates are really low and now they're looking to either move up or move down, they're kind of handcuffed by these low interest rates. To buy their next home, the mortgage rates are going to be double what they are paying. And actually, we just kind of flipped it where we're seeing more people recently with a normal rate of around 6% than the ones that are holding the 3% mortgages. So people are moving. I wouldn't let that bother you at all. And so I think Redfin's data is coming out and saying basically the number of sellers far outweigh buyers. Now, it was just the opposite just a few years ago. So it's really amazing to me because all the years I've been doing this, Richard, prices have come up, on average 3 to 5 to 6, 7% a year, nothing extreme until the government started messing with stuff. When they dropped the rates really low, then all of a sudden the prices zoomed way up and we had bidding wars. Then the interest rates went up, buyers couldn't afford it, and now we don't. So there are more sellers on the market as before in 2022. There were very few sellers on the market because the prices were so low, buyers were just snapping them up. So Zillow has the home prices flat. That's their estimate, is home prices might be a flat again this year or maybe go up just a little bit. That's their prediction. However, the buyers are looking at this going, I still can't afford it. Even if the price is correct 10%, it doesn't really move the bar. So a lot of the people that want to buy right now are kind of frozen, waiting to pull the trigger. I don't see much change in interest rates either. 30-year fixed is just above 6% for conventional and somewhere in the mid fives for VA and FHA. And they recently did a survey asking buyers, hey, what's more important, rates dropping or prices dropping? And across the board, it was prices dropping. So depending on which expert you listen to, some are saying we're going to have a big price drop and others are saying not. And some of this has to do with agent education, right? So they'll hire a real estate agent to put the house on the market and they're looking backwards at historic sales that were higher, saying, oh, your home is going to sell for this much. But when the prices are dropping, you can't rely on that. You have to price a lot more realistically. So what I'm seeing in my business right now is the homes that are moving are the good deals, just like right after the meltdown. You'd see people that put their house on the market retail and they were just sitting there. Nothing was happening. But the good deals that went on the market, like pre-foreclosure, foreclosure, are flying off the shelf, often with bidding wars. Just in the past week and a half, I've gotten bidding wars on 3 of my listings where I got anywhere from 6 to 8 offers, 3 properties, and all of them were priced aggressively. And only one of them was pretty. The rest of them were not so much. So my name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about really why Redfin is predicting that the real estate market will crash. And it has to do with just supply and demand, more sellers than buyers out right now. And if you are thinking of making a move right now, what should you do to prepare for it? We meet with customers every week and we help them. We give them ideas on what to do, what not to do to get their house ready for sale, go over all the expenses and give them a really good idea of what their home will sell for in this market. So if you are thinking of moving, give us a call, 719-301-3900. Richard?
So, Barb, we're discussing where home prices are expected to go in 2026. What are the predictions and how should your listeners prepare for them?
Well, if they are selling now, it's all about preparation, pricing, and promotion. So preparation is on the seller, pricing is on the seller, but a lot of times the seller is relying on what the agent is saying. And promotion really has to do with how well it's put online. I was just talking with the seller last night that was saying, I can't believe some of the pictures I'm seeing as marketing photos on the internet. We were looking at one and I'm like, okay, I don't get this. They have a marketing photo of a furnace on its side in a crawl space, which is kind of subtly saying to the buyer, if you need to go down and change your filter, you got to get down in this tight crawl space. How is that marketing? Do you think that's marketing, Richard?
That if somebody calls that marketing, it's not very good marketing.
Yeah, true. And I don't, I just think that the problem is it's 1 month of school to be a real estate agent. There's no how to on the job. Now, some companies have training, most of them don't. They basically tell you hang your license with a broker and you're on your own. Get out there and go bring me some of that commission and get some closings done. But there's very little training. Just last weekend, I was sitting with my colleague. This agent called. She wanted to show one of my listings. She had gone to the house. Now, at the house was a combination lockbox, but a lot of the agents in this area prefer the digital box. So we cross populate with agents. There are, I don't know how many different MLSs in Colorado. There's 1,500 in the whole country. They're all different software. They don't talk to each other. Some of these MLS clubs use digital boxes, but to open the digital box, you have to be a member of that club and you have to download the app and get a special code to be able to open the box that day. So that's a lot of technology for the average agent that doesn't plan ahead. And their mission is to open a door, hope the buyer likes it so they can write a 10-minute contract and make thousands of dollars, right? So this agent called, and in her mind, this lockbox that she put eyes on required some kind of digital process. She goes, well, I don't have a 1-day code. And I said, well, it's a combination box. Yeah, but I don't have a 1-day code, so I can't open it. And I said, okay, this is how it works. I was very nice to her. I said, I'm going to give you the combo. Here it is. You dial it in and you grab the sides and open it like a clamshell. And there's the key. Okay. So if you want to go back and show it, I've got your information. Go ahead and do that. Oh, thank you. But I mean, just simple stuff. They're not trained on how to do this. And it's sad to me. It's like, we are supposed to be required to have our tools and to understand our software and understand the how to, right? But it's just not out there, unfortunately. So you get a lot of people that are just kind of wagging it, trying to figure out how to do real estate. And so there are situations where homes are on the market and they're not selling and they're sitting there and they're sitting there. It's one of three things: it's preparation, price, or promotion. If the home has an issue, like if it backs to a busy street, it doesn't mean it's not going to sell. It means there's a different price for that. I was just looking at a house the other day that backed to a railroad track, not far from I'm talking like right behind the fence, but it sold and it kind of sold at a premium. So there's a lot of factors that go into this preparation and pricing decision. If it needs work, you got to price it right. So we can help you do that. You just give us a call at 719-301-3900 to get a free in-home consultation, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. She should be your real estate voice. If you're thinking of making a move, call Barb 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. A short break. When we come back, we'll be discussing how a divorce affects your house, mortgage, and taxes.